What is up, crazy fam? Guys, listen up. In today's video, we're gonna talk about the Lightfall expansion. I'm gonna tell you my honest thoughts as a player, as a content creator, how this expansion feels, the good sides, the bad sides. Should you pick up the game as a new player? Should you come back to the game? And by the way, for all the people that don't know, I do a lot of trials carries here on YouTube. I stream pretty much every day from Friday to Tuesday, and I help my viewers get the sweet Trials of Osiris loot, get flawless, all the good stuff. And I would absolutely love to see every single one of you guys live on stream. Okay, ladies and gents, now let's get right into it. The first thing I want to discuss is the campaign. In terms of the story, guys, I felt like it was probably around 6 out of 10, 7 out of 10. I feel like Witch Queen was better when it comes to that. The characters such as Rohan and Nimbus, pretty cool, I would say, because the Cloud Striders, in my opinion, are a really nice addition to the game. But overall, the connection to the characters wasn't really there, and it was hard to kind of care for the characters, so to speak. But overall, yeah, I would give it 6, 7 out of 10. Now, we know that Bungie introduced the legendary version of campaign, which means that it's going to be pretty much harder as you're completing the missions, but the rewards are better. However, this one felt way easier than the Witch Queen campaign. Now, this could easily be explained by the power creep that is in the game. We as Guardians are just so much more powerful now, even compared to Witch Queen. But overall, it definitely felt easier, even though they're trying to make the game harder, as they're saying. There's some really cool cutscenes and everything like that. So overall, it wasn't bad at all. When I say 6, 7 out of 10, honestly, that's not a bad score in my opinion. Now let's move on to the city of Neomuna, which I will say looks absolutely beautiful and is easily my favorite location in the game. Everything about it is just so colorful and so cool. And one of the biggest things that I love is how many enemies there are running around. There's always events. There's actually one super rare event that takes place here. And from what we've seen, every time you complete it, and it's not easy to complete, by the way, you are rewarded by a guaranteed exotic. Now, I might be wrong about this, but as I said, from our own experience, every time we did this with a full fire team, everybody was getting an exotic. So that's a really cool addition. I've been asking for some kind of like ruled boss kind of event for a very long time now, and this is the closest we've gotten towards that. It's really, really nice. Now, since we're talking about Neomuna, the campaign, everything, we have to talk about the new subclass, which is going to be Strand. And in my humble opinion, and I'm going to be straight up honest, this is the most fun I've had in this game when it comes to PvE for a very long time. I think that Strand, guys, I'm telling you, in PvE, it is easily meta. That's the build I was using day one. That's the build I use in the Legendary Lost Sector runs. And I have a beautiful build for that. I will drop the link to that build in the description. Make sure to check it out. That build is an absolute beast. You're going to be clearing endgame content easy peasy, like no worries at all. Champions become an absolute joke, and overall the subclass is extremely fun to use, and not just because you're wiping everything that is in front of you, but simply because the visuals are also so beautiful. So in my humble opinion, I would give Strand 10 out of 10, one of the best subclasses in the game, and above all, one of the most fun subclasses in the game. And the next thing I want to go over is the quality of life changes. For example, the loadout changes that came with Lightfall, and I've been asking for this and waiting for this for so long, and it's finally here. And it's never been easier to swap your loadouts, to be honest. All you got to do is save the loadout, and just with the press of a button, you switch from loadout A to loadout B, and it just happens in seconds. Extremely comfortable, especially in endgame content where every second matters. You want to swap your weapons. Now you can swap all of your weapons with one click of a button. So yes, this is a very welcome change, and I feel like Lightfall brought some awesome changes in general when it comes to endgame content, because they also made some amazing changes to champions, which are a huge part of the end game. Right now, you don't really stun champions only with weapons. You can do it with abilities, specific perks, specific subclasses, and so on. So I feel like when I'm playing the game now, I'm not forced to use this or that. I can pretty much make the exact build that I'm having the most fun with. And that just made the game so much more enjoyable. So all of these quality of life changes are more than welcome. I love it. They did add Guardian ranks, which is a rating system pretty much. So after some kind of, let's say, strike, crucible match, whatever it is, you can give your fellow guardians some titles, right? Heroic or knowledgeable, stuff like that. But the problem with it is they kind of tied it to this seasonal ranking. So instead of me wanting to actually give someone these cool titles such as heroic, as I said, or fun or knowledgeable, I'm just throwing it out there to get rid of it, because in order to level up my guardian rank, I need specific numbers given out. It doesn't have an incentive for me to look through the player list and be like, oh yeah, this guy was really fun, or this guy was really knowledgeable, he carried us. There's no point. You just throw them out there just to increase your guardian level. And I feel like that needs to change. That needs to be a separate mechanic from the guardian ranks. Hopefully that will change soon. Now let's talk about PvP with Lightfall, and then at the end I will tell you my overall thoughts on the expansion. Okay, so when it comes to PvP, not much has changed. We have the same modes. We don't really have many new maps. The competitive mode is very meh, because there's no rewards that is worth fighting for, and I feel like PvP in general has been left behind. And I'm very sad to say this, because I am a PvP main, right? I make PvE builds and PvP builds for you guys, but you guys know I'm all about PvP. But as I said, when it comes to competitive, there's not much there. They have a ranking system, but for some reason they also put SBMM in the competitive mode, which kills the whole purpose of competitive. There's no rewards that are actually worth it, no ornaments, nothing like that. So in my opinion, unless you just enjoy the mode, it's not really worth the grind. We also have Trials of Osiris, and I think that one is still the best endgame PvP mode, easily better rewards. I really do hope though that in the future they start working more and more towards improving the PvP experience. It's not like we're asking too much, just a few new maps maybe from time to time, and give us a good reward system for a competitive mode. And finally guys, let's talk about the raid. Now before we start talking about the overall raid, I want to talk about the day one experience. We got our run done on day one in the first 24 hours. It was a lot of fun, but I felt like it was a little too easy. Compared to other raids, it wasn't hard at all to clear it. Don't get me wrong, it wasn't like a walk in the park, but it was much easier than the other raids, and you can clearly see it by the numbers. The amount of people that cleared this raid are more than all the raids cleared on day one together. So that should tell you a lot. Now, some people will be like, oh, you know what? It should be like that. It shouldn't be that hard. But guys, let's be honest here. These day one raids are once a year event. It's not like it's going to be in contest mode for 3 weeks, 4 months, whatever. It's literally 24 hours, or in this case, it was 48 hours. Most of the time, it's 24 hours, right? And I feel like for just a single day, it should be harder just to test the best of the best. So overall, great raid. The only problem I have with it, as I said, was the contest mode being a bit too easy. However, the weapons look cool, sound cool. They have really awesome perks. Some of them are extremely unique with perk combinations, and the exotic that you get from this raid, speaking of unique, this is it right here. It's a shotgun that is both stasis and solar. Looks amazing, sounds great. Overall, a great addition to the game. I also think that it is easily one of the most beautiful raids in the game visually, man. I was mind blown when we first got in there. So if I was to rate this raid in terms of visuals, how fun it is, the boss is cool, everything like that, I would rate it 8 out of 10. And finally, I want to talk about the seasonal events. And the reason I want to go over these is because they do give you some really cool loot. There is some really cool and unique perk combinations. The weapons look visually very appealing. So once again, I feel like when it comes to loot in Lightfall, they did a great job. I can't complain about it. I feel like there's a lot of weapons that I want to chase, and that is a good thing, because at the end of the day, in a looter shooter, that's what keeps you going, the loot. And in this case with Lightfall, that is a dub. That is a huge dub. And these weapons will have an effect on your gameplay. And that's what it's all about. These weapons are not just fun, guys, but a lot of them are super effective. And let's be honest, you don't always have to think about the most OP meta stuff. Some weapons are just super fun to use, and that's why we farm them, because at the end of the day, if I'm running a strike, I just want to have fun with the weapons that I like. I don't really care how OP it is, because I can finish that strike regardless. So yes, Lightfall did bring that, a lot of fun and effective weapons, crazy perk combinations. So the loot is definitely there. There's some awesome exotics. The heavy glaive is phenomenal, and a lot of these exotics that have been introduced just give you the ability to create really powerful and really fun builds. And build crafting currently has been made easier, especially for people that are either coming back or new to the game because of how they changed the mod system and everything like that. So if you're hopping into the game, you'll understand everything much faster, and therefore you're going to be creating much more fun and effective builds in a shorter amount of time. So overall, guys, should you get this expansion? I'm going to be honest here. If you're looking for a content drop where you will have to farm a lot to get specific weapons, exotics, gear, make builds, yes, this is probably one of the best seasons when it comes to creating new builds and farming a lot of craftable weapons and in general some cool loot. We have a cool raid exotic as mentioned. Now, if you are a PvP main and let's say you stopped playing the game because you felt like there wasn't anything for you to do in PvP, sadly, there hasn't been much change. If you enjoy trials, obviously that's still here, but that's gonna be the best thing you get when it comes to PvP. So if you're a PvP main, should you be extremely hyped about hopping into PvP and just having the best time of your life? Definitely not. But as I mentioned, if you're somebody that is enjoying creating builds, absolutely destroying and shredding ads in endgame PvE, yeah, Lightfall is easily for you. Guys, I am a PvP main and I've never played so much PvE since D2 came out. That's how much fun I'm having with Strand. Okay, it's time to give an overall rating to Lightfall, and I think it's gonna be around 7 out of 10. And the reason I have to pull it down to 7 from, let's say, 8 is simply because there's not much going on for PvP, and everything that is carrying this expansion, honestly, is for PvE. And most of the build crafting is happening in PvE. That's not to say that you can't create awesome builds in PvP. For example, I created an absolute beast of a build for PvP for Strand. I will drop the link to that build in the description. Trust me, that one is a lot of fun and I have not taken it off at all. So make sure to try it out. But yeah, guys, that's gonna be it for this video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, don't forget to slap the like button and subscribe to the channel. And as always, ladies and gentlemen, never forget to share that positive energy all around. Take care, and I'll see you on the next one.
Let's go! Let's go, baby! Let's go!
I mean, we literally have the best community of all time. Oh! Oh, we got no scopes!